They've got this intersection blocked off. This is one of the main thoroughfares into the town of Superior right here at Dillon Road, and you can no longer get into Superior because of the dangerous situation there. I've got a familiar face here with me. This is Tony Laubach, and he used to be, Mike Nelson will recognize Tony's face. Tony was a weather producer for Mike years ago, and Tony's now with AccuWeather. Tony, tell us about what you're seeing, what you're witnessing, the wind gusts out here, all of that.
Well, I'll tell you, this has been very uncharacteristic for December. We've been talking about, everybody's been talking about just the crazy weather, the lack of snow and lack of moisture. Unfortunately, this is one of the results that you see from this, the dry conditions. Now, we are expecting a lot of snow as we get into tomorrow. That's going to help matters. But unfortunately, as things have been kind of shaping up here over this afternoon, this is as bad as I've ever seen it, especially in December.
Did you grow up in this area, or where are you from? How long have you lived in Colorado?
Well, I'm back on my second stint in Colorado. I did about 15 years down in the Lakewood, Littleton area, and of course saw some of the fires. I believe it was in 12 down southwest of town. So nothing really new, just the timing of the year is just what's so unusual about this.
Yeah, tell me about that, and just the fact that, we are supposed to get a major winter storm tomorrow. Unfortunately, it's sort of a day late for this fire. The extraordinarily dry, windy conditions and drought conditions that we've been experiencing this fall.
It's been unbelievable. We've been talking about just how dry it's been. Of course, we didn't get our first snow until mid-December, which is just completely unheard of for us here. Yes, the good news is we know we've got moisture coming tomorrow. Unfortunately, like you said, it does no good for us here today. And we're standing on dry timber just where we are right now, and that's been the case all over eastern Colorado. So like we saw in Kent Carroll over the weekend, like this is just something that, is the norm for us this year, unfortunately.
You're documenting this? Is that what you're doing for AccuWeather?
Yeah, I'm reporting and documenting this for the AccuWeather network. Been out here about an hour now, and we'll probably be here most of the night, probably with you guys.
Yeah. Way to go, Tony. Hey, we appreciate your expertise.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Thanks.
And we'll say hi to the gang back at Denver 7 for you.
Appreciate it, man.
Okay. So Tony Laubach with AccuWeather. He used to be a producer at Denver 7 for Mike Nelson. Again, he's just pointing out what we've all witnessed this fall, an incredibly dry and drought-like fall, and that has certainly contributed to the catastrophe that we've seen today. Again, this is the intersection of 96th and Dillon Road. Dillon is closed into the town of Superior. 96th was closed northbound into Louisville. I do see some cars, and here you go with emergency vehicles. What a scene. That says it all. Emergency vehicles flying in all different directions here at the intersection of 96th and Dillon. You can only imagine what type of situation they're driving into over in Superior. Shannon,
all right,
Jessica.
Russell Haythorne, thank you for your reporting, and we're just getting started, unfortunately. It is 1 minute after 3 o'clock here at Denver 7, continuing breaking news coverage of the Middle Fork Fire and Marshall Fire. Respectively, these are the fires burning north and south of Boulder. It is dry, it is extraordinarily windy, hurricane-force winds up there, and we now have evacuation orders for the entire town of Louisville. That is 20,000 people. The entire town of Superior, that's another 12,000, and now Broomfield has been put on pre-evacuation.
And we're breaking into your regularly scheduled programming because of the high winds, the fires that are taking over the Northwest Metro and Boulder area. This has been going on for the past 2 hours or so, and it has been rapidly increasing in danger for the residents of those areas that Shannon just mentioned. Emergency management is telling people if they see flames, they need to evacuate right away. Do not wait. There are several areas in parts of Broomfield that are under some pre-evacuation orders as well. They need to be on alert. They should be gathering those medical supplies, pet supplies, and getting ready if they possibly need to evacuate.
So here's what we do and don't know. We don't know if there has been any injuries or loss of life at this point. Unfortunately, we have seen anecdotal evidence, photographs and video of individual homes burning in Superior. We don't know the extent of the damage there, but the places that are on fire right now, you almost can't imagine the inferno these winds are causing. There it is right now. This is Marshall Road in Superior right there. Hopefully everybody got out okay. And I hope that this is going to be the only home, but that's just not practical. That's going to be the case when the smoke settles here, unfortunately. So it is still a brand new and still evolving situation as people are just now learning that they're supposed to evacuate. The fires are not going anywhere right now because of these extraordinary winds. They cannot fight it from the air because of the winds. So all they can do is get people out safely, and hopefully in an hour or two the winds will die down enough where they can start fighting this thing back.
I mean, we've been talking about up to wind gusts up to 110 miles per hour at some point this afternoon. We've seen semi trucks flipped over on the highway. Highway 36 shut down right now because of the fire situation. So this has just been an extreme and unprecedented fire season all the way leading up into December, which is just not normal for this time of year. It is extraordinarily dry out there. There are fire agencies across the state that are responding to this situation.
And I want to let folks know before we get to Bayan, the YMCA of Northern Colorado in Lafayette is one of the evacuation centers, and you can bring your pets there. I know in pet-loving Colorado that is a big concern for a lot of folks. So if you're in that area evacuating, you can go to the Y there in Lafayette and bring your pet. Bayan Wang among our crews following this. He has goggles on because he is standing in hurricane force winds right now. Bayan?
Yeah, Shannon, these winds are not letting up at all, and it's incredibly unfortunate that fire crews and emergency officials are incredibly limited in how they can fight this fire. When we see plumes of smoke in any of our other type of fire situations we've been in get that close to full-on neighborhoods, we see those crews up in the air fighting the fire, not just on the ground, but dumping water. And Marshall Lake is just a few miles away from here. They would have an incredibly convenient access point to continue to, get water and continue to dump them on that fire moving. But right now, there's really no telling if the ground crews are able to get any control on that fire line because of how unpredictable these gusts are. And it's really open game if you are anywhere in the city of Superior. I mean, the dry brush not just spans into those communities, but it comes out here into the highways. So what crews here are hoping is that fire doesn't blow south, jump the highway, continue burning in a southern direction, and that would also mean that entire neighborhood to my north is the biggest target in this right now. What we're seeing to be a continuous issue here is the traffic. As Russell was kind of saying, it's not people just evacuating the town of Superior. It's people who are hearing about the news and are trying to make it back home to pack up their bags, gather any pets that might be at home, gather all those things, and then head on the heck out of here. And traffic has continued to be back up as a result of that. We know that McCaslin Boulevard North is completely blocked off in the northbound direction. So we're not even sure whether those residents are being given access by officials to go back into their homes, to gather their belongings and leave. Again, it is important to note that if you are in Superior and you are trying to find the closest evacuation center, the Lafayette YMCA evac center is about a 45-minute drive from here. The Southern Boulder Recreation Center, which is serving as an evacuation center right now, that is about 15 minutes, and the traffic is pretty decent, I would say, heading towards the west. Yeah, if we just want to pan over there, everyone heading east right now is getting stuck towards the Lafayette YMCA. Everyone heading west right now has a little bit more of an open roads there. And like we were reporting earlier, some drivers would pull over and say, hey, can you guys reach out to someone because there's no traffic control and there's car accidents up there from people, as you can imagine, stop and go, and then turning your head, swiveling it so you can see where the fire is. Also, we got this in about 15 minutes ago. The Boulder Emergency Management Operations Center, they're telling people keep our lines clear because everyone is calling in, or I should say a lot of people are calling in asking, hey, do you guys need donations? How can we help? They're saying the way you can help is don't call us for anything unless it's an emergency. So these gusts are these gusts are incredibly random. As soon as I think that these gusts hit its peak, you'll get another just swift wind coming in, blowing you right off your feet. And that's why people are asked not to get out of their cars. People are asked not to pull over, not to take pictures. On our way up here, we probably saw 30 or 40 different cars pulled over on the side of the highway, taking photos of the fires. Our emergency officials are telling us, do not do that. Now, if we pan over this way to that plume of smoke, I don't know if we could zoom in, but we're starting to see those flames move way closer to us, and that is white smoke you're seeing plume into the air. When we see that white smoke plume into the air, we know that there is fresh material being burned. Let's pan back over this way. You see that community in the distance? That's north of us. As sometimes these gusts have been blowing in a southern direction, that's moving those flames closer to that neighborhood you see in the distance. And we are seeing, I can't tell if those are sirens or flames. It looks like they're sirens, possibly flames. We've seen both in the area. I would say within the last 20 minutes, more white smoke, not billowing up, being blown to the eastern direction. So that's where we are right now as of this point. As you saw, those emergency vehicles driving kind of towards where we saw those car accidents earlier. Gusts actually letting up a little bit right now, but anytime it's done that in the last hour or so, it was for 1 or 2 minutes, and they start picking back up. Shannon?
Unbelievable what we just saw behind you. I mean, you have to feel for every person's home, every person watching this, wondering if that is their home. Bayam, thank you so much for that report. Please be safe out there, because those gusts are very, very dangerous, very aggressive.
And please get yourself to a little bit more safety. As I was coming in, it's hard to control your vehicle sometimes, and I was pushed off the road. So we don't want to add any more problems there. Do be safe there, Bayam Wang, tonight. I want to show you this incredible video. As we've said earlier, the Flatirons Mall has been evacuated, and this is video from the Costco in Superior being evacuated. So again, you know, sometimes we think theoretically that wildfires are a mountain problem, but this is very much urban. This is just suburban Denver. These are people just out shopping at Costco being told to evacuate, and look what they're leaving that building into.
Out there. I mean,
the flame, the ash, the dust blowing in the air, and I'm sure that is just such a terrifying image to know that you're out there, that mom's out there, the dad's out there, and you know, kids are off this week. I'm sure they're out there shopping with their parents as well. So just one little quick snapshot of what is unfolding in Boulder County late this afternoon on almost the last day of December, which makes it even more incredible. Joining us on the phone right now, Michelle Kelly, Deputy Fire Chief. Your Mountain View Fire, is that right, Michelle?
Yes, sir. I'm Deputy Fire Marshal with Mountain View Fire.
Thank you so much for your time. Please give us the snapshot of things where you are.
Yes, sir. So we started this morning with strong erratic winds, starting some grass fires on the southwestern edge of our district. The intensity of the wind moved that fire rapidly and erratically further east towards the communities of Superior, southwest unincorporated Boulder County, and Louisville. We do have agencies from all along the Front Range and our mountains here assisting us with suppression and also with evacuations of residences that are affected and that may also be affected as this wind continues to blow up here.
What is your message to residents right now? We've seen a lot of people trying to return to their homes, even though they know the area has already been in evacuation. What is your message to people right now who are concerned and maybe trying to get back home?
We desperately need people to stay out of the area if they've been evacuated. We understand their need for more information, and my heart goes to them. We will get them that information as quickly as we can. We have many emergency responders coming into the area to respond to places where the fire is moving, to structures that are being affected or are in danger of being affected. And if we have additional traffic in the way, it's hard for those responders to get there. So we really need people to go to the evacuation centers. If you live in Boulder County, please sign up for Boulder County's Everbridge system. It works like reverse 911, except it goes to your cell phone and text even if you're out of state. And so if your home is in the area affected, you will get notified. It will also be utilized as we lift evacuations or keep them in place or move things up from pre-evacuation to evacuation status. We will utilize that system to help get information out, in addition to the Boulder Office Emergency Management blog that they can find online.
So a couple more things.
We also need people, if you haven't been notified and you see flames and you feel like you need to leave your home, you can leave. You do not need permission. You may leave.
That's
and
a very good
go
point.
North and east. Don't go south and west. Go north and east. Right now the fire is coming from the south and west in southwest Boulder County, moving northeast. So north and east, not south and west.
Deputy Fire Marshal Kelly, are you able to actually do anything to fight the fires, to try to put out the fires with conditions like this, or is this more just kind of waiting until you can and getting people to comply with evacuation and pre-evacuation orders right now?
The multiple tactics are being put in place right now, and so we have firefighters coming from the heel of the fire, utilizing wildland techniques to go and put out the flanks and the heel of the fire as it goes to prevent wind from grabbing any additional hot spots where it's safe to. We don't want to put firefighters in front of the flames because of those winds that are coming through. We are, with this wind, seeing a lot of spots and embers. So some of those fire crews that can do so safely are going after those spot fires to prevent it from impacting structures or additional vegetation further. So we are able to make some advancement on the fire, with the reality that the wind is also dictating what we can and can't do and where we can and cannot engage.
Absolutely. And so something that occurred to me is a lot of these people who are dealing with evacuations right now, this is new to them. If you live downtown Louisville, downtown Superior, this is not like a regular thing, because that's something more that we hear about in more remote areas. So if people haven't gone through this before, what do you suggest that they have in their go bag ready to go?
So we recommend that you have any important paperwork or documents that you need to take with you, that you have any important medications, your cell phone, your keys, that you have accountability of your family and where they are and a way to get a hold of them. Plan multiple ways to go to a safe place away from your home, so that if the way that you travel is blocked, you have an alternate way to get there. Also have a plan for your pets. Take 2 to 3 days worth of pet food with you as well. If you have opportunity to grab some snacks and some additional water to go with you, we are expecting cold snow in the next 24 hours, so we do recommend that you take with you any winter clothes that you can. Any valuables like photos that you want to take, that you have time. If you don't have time, that can all stay behind. It's most important to get to your family and pets and leave appropriately.
Michelle, we just learned Governor Polis declaring a state of emergency. I hate to ask you this. I know you guys are still early in fighting this fire and dealing with it, but any reports on structures lost, any injuries so far?
We don't have confirmed numbers of structures lost. I have heard of structure involvement. I have not heard of any injuries at this time, or that have been reported so far. And we do have an estimate of 1,225 acres.
25 acres. Thank you so much for the work you've already done and your insight into this. I know you have a busy day, busy night ahead for you, and we're all pulling for you. Michelle Kelly, Deputy Fire Marshal with Mountain View Fire, thank you so much. I want to read to you this declaration of a state of emergency that Governor Polis just issued. I'm just going to read it, so bear with me. I have not read it yet. Today, Governor Polis declares a state of emergency due to grass fires created by high winds across the Front Range. The declaration will allow the state to access disaster emergency funds to support the emergency response efforts in Boulder and provide state resources, including the use of the National Guard of Colorado Division of Fire Prevention and Control, and activation of the State Emergency Operations Center. So that is that is just coming into to Denver 7 right now. A state of emergency has been declared by the governor's mansion.
And you would imagine this is necessary at this point. You're talking about 20,000 people evacuated in Louisville, 12,000 to 13,000 people in Superior evacuated, pre-evacuation orders for parts of Broomfield. This is a very large area that it is being impacted right now by this wildfire and the high winds that have just continued throughout the afternoon, fueling this situation, making it dangerous for people going in and out of the area, as well as the firefighters trying to get the situation under control.
And so we have sort of a parallel story here of not just the fires, but as people, a lot of people are trying to leave the fire. It's creating a traffic problem. Are we doing traffic right now? I'm sorry.
We're going to go to Bayon Wang and check back in with him. He was seeing some white smoke in the area of a neighborhood area just moments ago. It sounds like we've lost his shot. He's been dealing with some very extreme winds in that area as people from Superior are evacuating. Bayon, what are you seeing right now?
Yeah, hey guys, that neighborhood we're telling you about where we saw some of those gusts of wind blow those flames, well, that flame appears to have consumed those houses in that northern direction there. I would say that's, at least 1,000, 2,000 yards from where we're standing now. Let's just make sure we're zooming in. Shannon, I know you guys saw that neighborhood in the distance. We saw the black smoke come, then we saw the white smoke starting to billow, indicating that there's fresh material that is starting to catch on fire, and we saw at least one of the homes appeared flames we're near it. Now we're in and out of losing vision, depending on how thick the smoke is over there. But I think from what we've seen in the direction this fire is going, that at least one of the homes in that neighborhood caught on fire, I would say 2 or 3 minutes before, we came live here. There was a lot of white smoke coming from there. It's not clear whether there's ground crews trying to battle it. And interesting, I think if we pan out a little bit, we can see that plane up there in the air. I know Polis said that this was supposed to be a no-fly zone and all aircrafts grounded, but we're seeing at least one aircraft now kind of flying over that neighborhood, kind of losing it in the smoke now. So we don't know if, there are 1 or 2 aircrafts that are able to get back up there, but what we have seen in the last 10 minutes is those flames moving closer to that neighborhood off there in the distance. We saw a bunch of white smoke billowing off from one of the homes, and it seems like the smoke is kind of either moving away from it or ground crews are possibly fighting it from in that area, but that was the neighborhood we have been keeping an eye on here for, I'd say, about an hour, and the unpredictability of these gusts is exactly why everyone was asked to evacuate. When we first got here, the smoke was a lot further than what we're seeing now, so we know that they're moving, the flames are moving in all sorts of directions. We still haven't gotten any word on containment. I doubt there would be any at this point. But with crews being limited on how they could fight this fire, it's what's making it incredibly difficult. Actually, if we're still on that shot, I can't tell. Let's go ahead and zoom in even more, because I don't know if you guys could start seeing the flames. Some of those flames kind of appear off there in the distance, and our vantage point is only our vantage point right now is only of those dozens of homes. I'd say at least a dozen homes. We don't know if there are any that are to the left, that we can't see because of the hill, but I could say from what the photographer and myself have been seeing is at least one of those homes with flames coming from it. So incredibly unfortunate, and it completely makes sense that there would be a state of emergency issued here with, what you guys were saying, 20,000 people evacuated or so, 13,000 just from Superior. But we're going to keep an eye on this. Gusts have been persistent since we've been here for an hour, maybe 1 or 2 minutes where it would die down, but then it would pick right back up. Hopefully it doesn't jump the highway. Traffic has been getting a little bit better. I don't know if that's an indicator of more people just leaving or people just not wanting to come back to get their stuff. but we'll bring you another live shot here in just a few minutes. That's what we got right now, Shannon.
All right, Bayan Wang, thank you very much for that. What a day. And I just want to take a second to say I know what a week this has been with the mass shootings in Lakewood and Denver, and we're in the middle of the holidays. It's such a tough time, and we all feel you, and we're all here for you, and we're all in this together. I do want to add before we
definitely a tough week for Colorado, and thank you to all of the emergency personnel, the police officers, firefighters. This has been a tough week, and they're continuing to work through their holiday. I'm imagining many of them working overtime right now, and so we do appreciate them so much and keeping everybody calm and trying to protect everyone. Let's go back out to Denver 7's Sloan Dickey. He has been up in Superior. Sloan, what are you seeing now?
Yeah, was in Superior. Now I'm actually right near where that staging zone is. I'm in the Bell Flatirons neighborhood. I was walking through the evacuation neighborhood, which was just south of Superior, and now I'm just standing with some people that are watching these flames in awe, and it's quite a sight to see. It's quite a devastating sight to see. You can actually see where these fires are popping up around the entire area, and you can see now the wind has died down a little bit, and that smoke is really starting to rise from the areas that have been hit by the flames. But down in the valley, down where we were seeing that evacuation taking place, it was pretty much a parking lot in every single residential neighborhood that we were going to. So the people that have been evacuated are slowly making their way out of there. If you are on pre-evacuation or you're just watching out to see where these flames go, be sure you're prepared, because it is quite a slow-moving train to get thousands of people out of these neighborhoods. And it's quite a shift. The fire and the wind is shifting direction. So it's really important that people around in this area stay prepared, stay alert, and just make sure that they're preparing their homes and preparing their cars to evacuate this area, because it might be a slow process just moving out of this area.
Sure, appreciate your work out there. Thank you for the advice and the good reporting out there. We'll check in with you in just a little bit there, Sloan.
Thank you, Sloan. Just an update from Boulder Office of Emergency Management. They've asked people to stop calling the emergency services line about donations. They don't need donations right now, and it's holding up the line. That's for another day. Yeah. That is for another day. We're going to go out to Denver 7's Jason Luber to get an update on the traffic situation that this wildfire is creating. Jason?
I'll get to all of these here. It's really, this is the area that we're going to be concerned with. So this is Highway 93. Here's Boulder, Louisville, Superior, Lafayette right at here. So this is the area we're talking about. Let's start with Highway 93. That remains closed down from Golden all the way on up past Highway 72, Coal Creek Canyon, up to 128. Now, 128 is open. That's a way for folks to get out. Indiana is also open, a good way for folks to get out and go south down toward Arvada and Golden. But that is going to be one of the better ways, since Highway 93 is closed, and usually Indiana is one of the good alternates to use to get out of a situation along Highway 93. This is the situation on Highway 36 from basically the mall right in here, both direction closed all the way through Superior. Here's McCaslin right here, going all the way and up to Baseline at the south side of Boulder. That is all closed down. The entire section is all closed down. So here's Superior and Louisville and Lafayette right in this area here. And this is really where the fire is burning, right through this area here, just on the north and west side of the Northwest Parkway, which is running right through there. So all of these roads in here are going to be restricted and or partially closed down just because of so many people trying to get in and out. And I've been watching Waze, I've been watching the emergency responders. They are actually having a really hard time getting in through some of these areas because some folks are trying to get in with roads that are not closed, but they are closed, and folks are trying to get in so they can get to their stuff, and then emergency responders are having a hard time getting around them and corral them and get them back out. And so that's why I'm seeing all the red that you see on the neighborhood roads right there in that area as well. I've been watching the roads around Boulder. And actually, Boulder looks just fine. I've actually looked at some of the cameras up in Boulder. Then traffic is moving normally on Foothills Parkway, on Broadway, on 28. Just all north. Boulder is actually moving along just fine. The fire is going to be well east of Boulder, so there's no problems getting around the town of Boulder, at least for right now. There is another problem This is because of the high winds and some blown over semis. I saw one just a bit ago right there across C470 out to the west side of town. So from basically about Bellevue or so, it is closed down past 285 up to Morrison because of this rolled over, blown over semi, and that's just on the westbound side. The eastbound side is open, but Kipling and Sims and Wadsworth, all good ways to get up towards 6th Avenue around the other side of Green Mountain and get around it that way. So we do obviously have some problems. Marshall Road is also closed. That is going to be right in here. This is Marshall Road, going basically between Highway 93 going over to 36 and Superior. That one is closed. So 128 is actually the better way to get on the south side of the mall. That one's open. Also, a lot of the traffic signals are out, as the emergency responders are telling me, because they've had so many power outages. The traffic signals have been knocked out as well. Some of these traffic cameras I would show you are actually knocked out as well. I want to show you this. I'm going to flip the screen here. And what you're going to see is a quad split of the different traffic cameras. So this is Highway 36. This is the westbound side. These folks are trying to get off at Wadsworth, and that's where the highway is closed, at Wadsworth. This is up at the Flatirons Crossing, right across from the mall. You're not seeing any traffic here. This camera is showing us right there at Foothills Parkway and Highway 36. You can see the pedestrian bridge for the RTD Park and Ride that's right over there at Foothills, and no traffic down here. But again, traffic around Boulder, because you're west of the fire, is actually moving fine. And this is Highway 93. Between 72 and 128. So basically between Golden and Boulder, and you can see the cameras bouncing around and no traffic because it is again closed in that area. So let me flip the back to the map here, and this is going to be this area of concern really from Louisville, Lafayette, Marshall, Superior. This is the area we're concerned with right now, and the rest of the drive up here, and actually Highway 36, part of this is going to be closed down up to Lyons, and that's for because of the high winds, but not because of the fire.
I tell you what a resource. We are so lucky to have you on our side. And I actually came in on 470 right between Quincy and Bellevue. Couldn't get anywhere, and I'm lucky I made it in at all because of all those toppled semis. But thank you so much, and I'm glad you're here. Hopefully you'll be here for a little while, because this is going to be a bit of concern. We have some news, unfortunately, some bad news, unfortunately. We have just confirmed UC Health Broomfield says they do have 6 patients from this fire. We don't know if they are burn patients. We don't know if it's for smoke inhalation. It perhaps could even be from heart or other conditions brought on by this fire. But they are treating 6 people now at UC Health Broomfield, and their conditions are not known at this hour.
We're going to go now to Rachel Hazlett. She is the Public Information Officer with Broomfield Police. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. What is the latest that you're hearing?
Sure. I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. It's a little busy around here.